All right, traders, welcome back. So, as promised on Twitter, I did a poll about what were some of the biggest mindset obstacles that you guys are facing, and as expected for at least me, the things that I thought that what I deal with the most and what that you guys deal with the most between your replies and what you voted for, it seemed what I expected. Right, there are key common things that all of us deal with and have to overcome to become a profitable trader, mentally speaking. And so, as a promise, I'm going to make a video on how I handle them and how I still try to deal with some of these today. Most profitable traders I know have found at least some way, shape or form to deal with these mindset obstacles. And the unprofitable traders I know usually deal with some of these things. So the list we're going to go down is lack of patience, fear of being wrong or fear of losing, something I call persistence versus grit, jealousy or envious of other traders, and then lastly is the biggest one of all, which was fear of missing out. So I do have a lot to go over, so let's get right into it. Number one, lack of patience. I get stories and questions all the time of like, Kyle, I've been trading for 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 months, and I'm just not getting it, right? And what I want to say to that is, of course, like that's typical, right? I don't know what the expectations are for when people start finding trading, but this is a long, long game. It's really your expectations, right? If you expect to be profitable in 6 months and you aren't, you're going to be massively let down. Of course, right? But if you have expectations to be profitable in 3 years and you get it in a year and a half, you're going to be thrilled, right? And so lack of patience hasn't been something I've really dealt with. And I think it's because even when I found trading and started trading, I knew it was something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Like it was such an odd feeling, and maybe some of you can relate to this. When I found trading, it was like something clicked for me. I was like, this is it, right? Like there's almost everything about this I like and enjoy, and I want to keep doing this. So, some people take more than 3 or 4 years, right? And you're worried about 6 months. Like if you read the Market Wizards books, or there's some podcasts out there that talk about these traders, some of these traders took like 6, 7, like even 10 years to become profitable. Now, did they have a mentor and someone to learn from? Probably not. They probably tried to do it on their own. So if you're watching this video or you're signed up with a service that helps you learn to trade, like you're going to shorten your learning curve that way. But ultimately, it takes time. It just takes time. And, spending the first 1 to 2 years to then potentially learn how to trade and be profitable for the next 10 to 20, that's a no-brainer for me, and that's something I'm willing to do. So that's how I stay patient, right? It's all about your expectations and the expectation of what time frame you're on. That's how I deal with it. Secondly is fear of being wrong and fear of losing. These are kind of 2 in 1, right? You might have one, but not the other. You might have a fear of being wrong, and you might just have a fear of losing. So for fear of being wrong, if you don't care how much you lose, if it's $20, right, and you're scared of being wrong, I'm going to give you some tough love here. Like that's your ego. And you got to drop it, right? The market doesn't care whether you lose money or not. The market doesn't care if you make money or not. If no matter, even if it's a $1, right? And you're like angry and you're like, I can't believe I lost. I can't be wrong. You got to learn to give that up. If you've been wrong, welcome to the club, right? Try to name, not even trader, name anyone in the history of the world who hasn't been wrong at something. Everyone is always wrong. Right? There's always something someone's gonna be wrong at, and you can't be right about everything. Most people, it's more fear of losing, not being wrong. But if it is you being wrong, just drop your ego at the door. Right? The market is not going to tolerate your ego. So that's that. Fear of losing. There are 2 parts. You could be fear of losing because you're losing too big, or you're trading with money that you can't afford to lose. So regardless of the two, losing's part of the game. Right? It's like the yin and yang. There's not good without evil. There's not losses without wins. It doesn't matter if you're in your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 10th, 20th year of trading. You are going to take losses. It is going to happen. You do not win 100% of the time. It doesn't exist, right? And so if you're losing because you're losing too big, you need to take smaller size, right? Just test. See if you stop out and trade, see if you are willing to lose $20, right? If you can't lose $20, it might be because you're fear of being wrong, right? But if you're learning to trade, you should be able to be comfortable with, what? I need to lose $20 on this trade, or I should be okay with losing $20 on this trade, that kind of thing. In terms of trading with money you can't afford to lose, this is a tough thing where people will only have $5,000 to their name. and they want to trade with it. And, my first response is, no. You need to make sure the money you are trading with can go to zero, right? When you are fully accepting that the money you're trading with, you can lose, now you're not frantic. Now you're not, trading with next month's rent money. Now you're not paying with money that you want to spend on groceries this week, right? It's all about what that money is for and how, emotionally attached you are to that money. Because if you are emotionally attached to that money, of course you're going to be scared of losing it, right? Because you can't afford to lose it. So you've got to be real with yourself and ask yourself if the money you're trading with can be lost, right? Can it go to zero? Because if it can't, you need to look at your financial situation like outside of trading and make sure you're at least somewhat stable. So the third one here, this was not in the poll I did on Twitter, but I see this a lot, and I wanted to kind of make point of this because I think it's pretty important. And I call this persistence versus grit. Now, back to the patience thing, some traders tell me, besides being 6 or 8 months, they'll be like, oh, I'm like 2 or 3 years in. And I've been learning from this mentor, I've been doing this service, I've read this many books, and they're kind of on the longer scale of how long it takes someone who's part of a service, who's been studying a lot. And I kind of want to ask, like, they're persistent, right? They've been coming back, they've been staying in the game for 1, 2, 3 years, which is longer than most people. Most people quit within the first few months, right? So they have persistence. But in my opinion, if you're studying a lot and you're learning from, a guru or a service, if it's the right service, right? And you're still not where you are, for me, it's like, I want to ask, when have you had enough? And I don't mean to be like rude here. Like, I'm trying to give some tough love and criticism where it's like, some people I talk to, and I want to ask, like, when are you going to get angry? And I don't mean angry like I'm going to start like throwing size at a stock because I'm just mad at them. I don't mean that. I don't mean revenge trading. Like, for me, I get angry. Like, I remember when I was like 8 months in, 10 months in, and I was studying a lot and I was still losing, right? I hit my breaking point. I've talked about this in other videos where I quite literally couldn't take anymore, right? I just got frustrated. I got angry. I got mad. And it was almost like where I lost patience. And it's like, enough is enough. Like, I want to be profitable now. Like, let's get to it. Let's study now. Like, let's do it now. And so I don't mean to, it almost like if you listen to Gary Vee, he talks about like macro patience and micro speed, right? The first thing I listed about patience, or it should be macro, right? You understand no matter how hard you study, it's going to take 1 year, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, right? But in terms of on a day-to-day thing, like, it's great you have persistence and you're still going, but where's the grit? Like, where's like, I need to get as much as I possibly can get done today, or I'm not going to be a profitable trader. Like, where's that, like, that urgency, right? I don't see that in some people. And I think that is a crucial skill that at least I have, and I've seen other people have, where it's like they want it now, but they know wanting it every day right now is eventually going to lead to being profitable in 1 year, in 2 years. Fourth is jealousy or envious of traders. This is not the biggest thing, but I have kind of seen a lot of traders talk about this, so I wanted to put this in the list, which is, some trader will be like, I made $50 a day, but I saw this other trader made 500. Or I made 500 and I saw this other trader make it 5,000. I traded 1,000 shares, but this trader took 10,000 shares. And what I want to say to that is, you don't know the other trader's life, right? And I don't mean that in like a protect, oh, don't judge them kind of thing. No, I mean, like, you have no idea where they're at, right? You might be like, only have $10,000 to your name and you're trying to make this happen. And someone who's taking like 10 times the size of you might already be a millionaire, right? And not even in trading. He might be a millionaire because he invested in real estate. And so now he's trying to like learn a hobby of trading. You have no idea their financial situation that allows them to feel comfortable taking that size. And just because they take bigger size than you might not mean they're better traders than you, right? So, your situation can be so different. And there's such a massive spectrum of what size and amount of money you can have. There's just no way you can ever logically should compare yourself to someone else, right? You're on your journey. Your journey is going to be different from anyone else's that you've ever experienced or seen. And, comparing yourself to other traders is only going to slow yours down, right? For example, I've made about $120,000 in the stock market. A trader like, Tim Gertani has lost more money than that in a single trade, right? There's traders on Wall Street who make more money in a day than Tim Gertani has made in 8 years of trading. And I'm not saying that to compare. I'm showing that to show you how massive the spectrum is. So to even think that you're at the lowest of the lows or the highest of the highs in terms of money and trading, you're not. Like, chances are you are in the middle somewhere. And so just accepting that is going to, remove that stress and that like jealousy or envious or whatever it is. And lastly, this was by far the most popular and what most people deal with, and what I certainly still deal with at some degree, which is fear of missing out. FOMO. I say this to a lot of people who ask me about this, and it is, the stock market has been around for over 100 years, like since the early 1900s. It's almost 2020. Where's the FOMO for the last 100 years? Like, that's silly for me to say that because, like, duh, Kyle, I wasn't alive, or duh, I wasn't trading then. But all of a sudden, you've now put yourself in this situation where you can actually see these plays happen in real time. Excuse me. And now all of a sudden, you're like scared, and you're fearful of like, oh my gosh, this play just happened, and I missed it. Like, it's happened 100 years. It's gonna happen 100 more years, right? I'm gonna be like 60 years old in the 1970 or 2070, like hunched over on my back, still trading. And there's still going to be opportunities then. I almost promise you there's still going to be opportunities then. So if you miss one, like, wait a week. They're coming right on the corner. If you trade long enough, you're going to learn, and I've certainly learned, an opportunity is always going to come around, right? And if you miss one, no one trade is going to make you, but one trade could certainly, break you. So if you miss a trade, just be happy it wasn't one that's blew up your account, right? Because the reality is, if you logically, like, maybe put yourself in your shoes, if you were in front of your screen taking a trade, how much would you have actually made? $50, $500, maybe 5,000 if you're a big trader. Like I said, that's not going to make you. Okay, you missed one. Does that mean you're not going to be a profitable trader by the end of the year? I sure hope not, right? So it's not going to really matter. Just having, again, the first, it goes back to patience, right? If you're going to be trading for 20 years, what does it mean missing one play, right? And so I don't have necessarily, if I see a play and have it happen, I won't necessarily have that kind of FOMO. The FOMO I kind of have is if I'm not in front of the market, right? If I have to like go travel somewhere, or I have to, maybe I got like a dentist appointment during the market hours. If I'm not physically there and I miss something, then I get FOMO, right? Because it's like, I can't control that. And if I was there, how much would I make? But again, I put myself in that situation of like, okay, in reality, I would have only made $700, right? Is that going to make or break me? Of course it isn't, right? Wait a week, more opportunities show up, especially right now in this winter trading. There's almost an opportunity every single day. And so one ways that I've actually done this before and still do it sometimes to break my FOMO, and you should maybe try this, is I want you to purposely miss a trade, right? So you're in the market, you made your watch list, you made a trade plan, and you're ready to watch your stock. Maybe you're shorting, maybe you're long, it doesn't matter. The point is you have your order ready, you've got your entry price ready, and all of a sudden I want you just to watch it, right? And you're going to feel FOMO, right? Because the trade's going to probably start working, and all of a sudden you could have made a profit, but you're just sitting there watching it. And so that FOMO is going to boil, right? That FOMO is going to start feeling that, and you're going to want to chase. But I want you to like purposely sit in your hands, because what that's going to do is you're going to actually start accepting your FOMO and not fighting it, right? Trying to fight FOMO and like, I can't miss a play, leads you to chasing, right? It leads you to make impulsive decisions, emotional decisions, and you're fighting FOMO. You're almost building a habit of feeding it. So by accepting it and almost just letting it happen and letting yourself miss a play in front of your face, like right now, like as the play is happening, you're now no longer giving into FOMO and you're letting it pass, right? You're some people say you want to trade like a robot and kind of fight your emotions. I almost think you should do the opposite and accept your emotions so deeply that they don't take power away from you, right? You let them fade. They don't get to take anything from you. You just let it pass. And all of a sudden, oh, the play is over. Next week, another play comes around. You bank on that one. Next week, another play comes around. You missed that one. Okay, let it pass. Play's over. That helped me a lot because I did have FOMO quite a lot in terms of missing plays when I first started out. But again, letting having you controlling FOMO and not FOMO controlling you is what you want to do. And so it's kind of counterintuitive. You want to do the opposite and just letting it sit and feeling it, not trying to fight it and like being so scared of, oh, I'm going to miss a play. Just calm down and just let it pass, right? So those are some things that I think are huge and crucial. That's about it, guys. Let me know what was your favorite or what you took away from it. If there's any other things that you may be struggling with mentally, I can maybe make another video or just answer your question in a private message or whatever. So thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.